James sat by the window, watching the street in silence. The sky was gray, just like his heart since his mother died 3 years ago. Everything in their home had felt cold and quiet since then. His dad, once full of life, had become a quiet shadow of himself. But now, something had changed. His dad, Michael, had started smiling again. The reason? A woman named Carla. She came into their life only a few weeks ago. Tall, with dark hair, and a warm smile. Carla was full of energy. She made jokes, cooked dinner, and even brought flowers into the house. Michael looked alive again. He laughed. He dressed better. He talked more. But James wasn't smiling. Something about Carla didn't feel right. The first night Carla had just moved into the house that night. She brought only 2 suitcases and a small black bag she never let out of her sight. At dinner, she laughed too loudly at simple jokes. She kept asking James personal questions like, "What's your school like? Do you have many friends? Do you use your laptop a lot?" James answered carefully. She noticed everything he said. Later that night, James woke up around 2:10 a.m. He heard Carla talking softly. Out of bed and walked slowly to the hallway. The sound was coming from her room, but when he peeked under the door, the light was off. Just darkness. Yet her voice was clear. It wasn't a phone call. She wasn't replying to anyone. It sounded like she was reading. Or maybe practicing. Something. Don't say too much. Smile often. Gain his trust. Then find the file. James froze. Find the file. What file? The bag. The next morning, Carla was in the kitchen cooking eggs. James pretended to be sleepy and walked past her. He saw her small black bag on the living room floor. The zipper was open just a little. Quickly, he knelt beside it and peeked inside. A few things were normal. Makeup, keys, perfume. But one thing caught his eye. A black USB drive, taped under the bag's inner flap. He didn't touch it. Not yet. Her story doesn't match over the next few days. Carla told many stories about her past. "I was a nurse," she said. "I traveled a lot," she added. "I don't use social media. I like privacy," she smiled. But James noticed problems. She said she had a sister in Seattle, but then later said her sister lived in Miami. She said she used to work in a hospital, but didn't know simple medical terms. One night, James asked, "What's your favorite thing about being a nurse?" Carla paused, just for a second. Then she smiled. "Helping people feel better." It sounded like an answer from a movie. The USB. A few days later, James found the perfect chance. Carla was out getting groceries. His dad was asleep upstairs. James took the USB, plugged it into his laptop, and waited. Inside was one audio file. He clicked it. A man's voice played. It was shaking, scared. "Carla, listen. They found out. I had to leave everything behind. You have to stay quiet. If they catch you, you know what happens. Destroy the file." Then silence. James's heart raced. Who was that man? Why was Carla hiding this? He copied the file to his laptop and put the USB back exactly as it was. The smile that wasn't real that evening. Carla returned with groceries and made lasagna. She smiled at James like always, but now, he didn't trust that smile. It felt fake, empty. Practiced. The first warning that night. James got a message on his school laptop. It was from an unknown email. "Stay away from things you don't understand. Some secrets are dangerous." James's blood turned cold. How did someone know? Was Carla watching him? He looked around. His webcam light blinked once, then went off. He quickly closed the laptop and turned it off. A strange phone call the next morning. James overheard Carla talking on the phone. She was in the backyard, walking slowly, speaking in a low voice. He couldn't hear everything, but he caught a few words. "Yes, he's quiet, but I think he knows something. No, Michael has no clue. Give me 1 more week." James stepped back quickly, his breath caught in his throat. They were talking about him, and his dad. The fake photo. James went online that night and searched for Carla's name. Nothing. No old social media, no job records, not even a high school listing. He typed her full name again. Still nothing. Then, by accident, he typed just Carla Hen and clicked search. A photo appeared. Same face, but different name. Carla Henderson. The site showed a police report. She had once been under investigation for fraud and identity theft. The report ended with one sentence. Carla Henderson disappeared before arrest. Last seen with a wealthy businessman. James's eyes widened. That businessman was his dad. James didn't sleep that night. He kept thinking about the voice on the USB. The man sounded scared. He spoke Carla's name like it was dangerous. They found out. I had to leave. Destroy the file. But Carla hadn't destroyed the file. She kept it hidden, which meant she was still using it. But why? At breakfast the next morning, Carla smiled at James as if nothing had happened. She poured orange juice, placed toast on his plate, and said sweetly, "You were up late, studying." James nodded slowly. "Yeah, something like that." She laughed. "Hardworking, just like your dad." Her eyes didn't blink much. They stared a little too long. James kept his face calm, but inside, his heart was racing. "She knows I saw something." The hidden camera. James had an old phone he didn't use anymore. He decided to turn it into a spy camera. He placed it carefully behind a plant in the living room, facing Carla's black bag. He pressed record, then left the room. All day, he acted normal, talked to his dad, did homework, played video games. Later that evening, while Carla was in the kitchen, James took the phone and checked the video. For over 3 hours, Carla never touched the bag. Then around 4:20 p.m., she opened it. She looked around nervously, then pulled out the USB. She plugged it into her own laptop and played the file. But that wasn't the strange part. She talked to it. The strange conversation. James leaned in, replaying the video. Carla whispered to the recording, as if it could hear her. "Why did you leave me, Ryan? You said we were done with this. You promised. Now they'll come for me too." She wiped her eyes. "You were supposed to protect me." James paused the video. Ryan, was that the man on the recording? Was he her partner? Or her victim? Digging deeper that night, James typed Ryan plus Carla Henderson into the internet. One result popped up, an old news article from 5 years ago. Financial fraud pair disappears. Carla Henderson and Ryan Elliott vanish after $2 million. Embezzlement case. The photo showed the same Carla, younger, with a man beside her. James zoomed in on the man. Same voice, same face. This was the man from the USB. The lead. James waited until his dad left for a work call. Then he asked Carla, "Did you ever visit New York?" She smiled. "No, I've never been there." "Why?" James stared at her. The article said she lived in New York. And now she was lying again. The phone called. James couldn't stay quiet anymore. He found a local FBI contact line online. Late that night, when everyone was asleep, he called a calm woman. Answered FBI tip line. "How can we help you?" James hesitated. His voice shook. "My name is James, my dad's fiancée. She's not who she says she is." The woman didn't laugh or sound surprised. She simply said, "Go on." James told everything: the strange late night whispering, the USB and the recording, the fake name, the online articles, the man named Ryan, the conversation Carla had with the recording. The agent on the phone said nothing for a long time. Then she spoke clearly. "Do not confront her. Don't ask questions. Don't change your behavior." James asked, "Is she dangerous?" The agent replied, "If it's the same woman we're thinking of, very." Carla gets suspicious the next day. Carla was different. Her smile was still there, but it felt sharper, thinner. She watched James more closely. She asked more questions. "What did you do last night? Have you been on my laptop? You okay? You seem distant." James lied as best as he could, but he knew Carla was starting to suspect him. He needed to be careful now, very careful. A shocking discovery 2 nights later. James snuck into Carla's room when she was in the shower. He didn't touch her laptop. He opened her bag again. This time, besides the USB, he found a folder. Inside were photos, notes, lists. One paper had names and addresses, but one name stood out. Michael Grayson, James's dad. Written next to it, "Witness, keep close, watch movement." James's hands trembled. Carla wasn't just a liar, she was watching his dad, studying him. But why? The memory. James suddenly remembered something from last year. His dad had been a witness in a court case involving a company fraud. He thought it was small. Just one day in court. He never talked about it again. But now, James wondered, was Carla here because of that? Had she found his dad on purpose? James couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the paper in Carla's bag. Why was his dad's name written on it? Why did it say "Witness, keep close, watch movement"? James sat on his bed in the dark, listening to the silence of the house. Every little noise made his heart jump. A door creaked. A clock ticked. Carla coughed in her room. Was she really sleeping, or just pretending? The laptop searched the next morning. James acted normal. He ate breakfast. He laughed at Carla's jokes. He helped with dishes, but inside he was racing. As soon as Carla left for a quick store run, he rushed to his laptop and searched again. Carla Henderson fraud case. Carla Henderson and Ryan Elliott. Michael Grayson witness. Most results were old and hidden, but after going deeper into online forums and newspaper archives, he found something new. An old thread from a finance blog, written by someone claiming to be an insider. She's not just a scam artist. She was trained. 2 identities. Government once suspected she was part of something bigger. James froze. 2 identities. He searched her name again, but this time, typed in Carla Henderson and found a new article. Fugitive Carla Henderson believed to use second name, Emily Ross. He clicked the link. Same face, same smile, different name, different backstory. The Emily Ross identity. According to the article, Emily Ross worked in luxury real estate. She vanished after selling fake apartments to investors. One client lost over $500,000. Her partner Ryan Elliott was believed dead or in hiding. Last seen near Chicago, 3 years ago. But what caught James's eye was one photo at the bottom of the article. It was Carla, no doubt. But she wasn't alone. She was standing next to a federal agent, smiling as if they knew each other. A second lie later that day, James asked Carla a simple question while they were watching a movie. "Have you ever been to Chicago?" Carla paused for a second, then smiled. "Nope, I've always been more of a New York girl." James nodded slowly. Another lie. Now he was sure. Carla was not just a liar. She was a master at it, calling for help. Again, James used the same FBI number he called earlier. This time he didn't hold back. He told them about the second identity, about the fake names. The article. The agent in the photo. The woman on the phone stayed silent for a while, then said one word. Interesting, James asked. Do you know her? The woman replied, we might. But you need to stay quiet. Do not tell your father. We'll be in touch soon. Before hanging up, she added, and James, don't search anything else on your home Wi-Fi. She may be watching. Carla's behavior changes over the next 2 days. Carla changed. She started locking her door even when she was inside. She didn't leave her laptop unattended anymore, and she watched James more closely. She touched his shoulder more, asked deeper questions, and smiled even when he said nothing. But the worst part, James's dad seemed even more in love with her. Michael started planning a wedding. He even showed James the ring he bought. She saved me, he said. After your mom died, I was broken, but Carla brought me back. James didn't know what to say. He wanted to scream. She's lying to you. She's dangerous. But he couldn't. Not yet. Another scary clue that night. James checked Carla's small black bag again when she was showering. The USB was still there, but something new had been added. A folded piece of paper. It looked like a list. Names, dates. One of the names was Agent Lewis. James remembered that name from the article. The same agent standing next to Carla in the photo. Next to the name was a red X and under it, one sentence. Cleaned. No longer a threat. James dropped the paper. Was she killing people? Or helping someone who was? The message back in his room. James found a sticky note on his pillow. He hadn't seen it before. It said, you're smarter than I thought. But curiosity can be dangerous. No name, no handwriting. Just that. James was running out of time. After finding the sticky note on his pillow, you're smarter than I thought. But curiosity can be dangerous. He knew Carla wasn't just watching him, she was warning him, but he couldn't stop now. There was only one way to get real answers. He needed help from someone who could investigate Carla's past without alerting her a risky move. James remembered a man his mother once trusted before she passed away, a private investigator named Mr. Ward. He had helped find a missing family heirloom and once exposed a school scam years ago. James found his old business card in one of his mom's memory boxes. J. Ward Investigations, quiet truth, fast answers. He called the number using a burner app on his phone. It rang once, twice. Then a deep voice answered. Ward. James whispered, I need to talk to you. It's about someone dangerous. Living in my house, meeting in secret. They met the next day at a quiet diner, far from home. Mr. Ward was older, with sharp eyes and a calm, serious face. He listened without interrupting, as James explained everything. Carla, the USB, the 2 identities, the folder of names, and the FBI call. Ward didn't take notes. He just nodded and asked one question. Do you think your father's in danger? James nodded. I don't just think it, I feel it, Ward said. Then I'll look into her. But you keep your head down, you understand. James agreed. He left the diner feeling both scared and hopeful. The strange email that night. James got an email from an unknown sender. The subject line read, the woman you live with is not who she says she is. Inside was only one sentence. Ryan Elliott was found dead 3 years ago. She told no one. There was a photo attached. James opened it and gasped. It was a crime scene photo. A man, clearly Ryan, lying in the grass. Bullet wound to the chest. Carla, standing a few feet away, staring at the body, not crying, not shocked, just watching. The phone call from Ward the next day. Mr. Ward called. His voice was tense. James, I found more. You need to listen closely. He told James that Carla had not only used fake names, she had changed entire lives. She posed as a school counselor in Boston, a marketing agent in Texas, and even a nurse in Nevada. Each time someone around her either disappeared, got arrested, or went bankrupt. And every time, she left before anyone could ask questions. She's not just lying to your father, Ward said. She's hiding from something, or someone. Then he paused. Do you know a man named Agent Lewis? James froze. Yeah, he was in a photo with her. Ward's voice lowered. He's missing. No trace. Just like Ryan. Tension at home that evening. Things at home felt worse. Carla was unusually quiet. She watched James like a cat watching a mouse. She served dinner, smiled, said all the right words, but something had changed in her eyes. James excused himself early and went to his room. He locked the door, turned off the lights, and sat in the dark. He could feel it. She knew. The hidden audio. James checked the spy phone. He had left recording near the living room. One clip stood out. Carla was on a phone call. Her voice was low and cold. Yes, the boy is suspicious. He found something. No, the father doesn't know yet. If things go wrong, I'll handle it. Then silence. Then 2 final words before she hung up. Like Ryan. James breaks down in the middle of the night. James sat in bed, shaking. He didn't want to be brave anymore. He didn't want to lie or sneak around or spy. He just wanted his life back. His mom, his dad, a home that felt safe. But now, he was living with someone who had watched a man die and might do it again. James couldn't sleep. The more he learned about Carla or Emily, or Dr. Elizabeth Carr, the more afraid he became. She didn't just lie. She moved like a ghost. She destroyed people quietly and vanished. And now, she was in his house. With his father, planning a wedding, a dangerous routine the next morning. Everything felt fake. Carla smiled like usual. She made pancakes. She joked with James's dad, but James saw through it now. Every move she made was practiced. Every word, carefully chosen, every glance, calculated. She wasn't just pretending to love Michael Grayson, she was managing him, controlling him like a puppet. And James was next in line. FBI calls back at noon. James stepped outside and answered a hidden call from the same FBI contact he had spoken to earlier. Her voice was sharp and urgent. "We need to move fast." James, Carla, or Elizabeth was part of a classified investigation 6 years ago. James asked, "What kind of investigation?" The woman replied, "We can't give you everything." But she was trained in psychological operations, behavioral manipulation. In simple terms, she knows how to break people down emotionally, mentally, and get what she wants. James's mouth went dry. "Are you saying she's like a spy?" The woman paused. "We're saying she's dangerous. Very dangerous. And we believe she's not working alone." The name on the list. James ran to his room and pulled out the copy he made of Carla's secret list. The one from the black bag. There were 11 names. Some had red X's, some had green circles. His father's name was still circled, but something new had been added beside it. Soon, that single word chilled James to his bones. What was she planning to do to his dad? James tries to warn his dad that night. James sat across the table from his father. He wanted to scream the truth. But how do you tell your dad, the woman he's about to marry, has 2 fake names, worked with a dead conman, is trained in psychological warfare, and may be targeting him? Still, James tried. "Dad, have you ever wondered why Carla never talks about her past?" Michael smiled. "She told me everything, son. Her family's gone. She moved here for a fresh start. But, did she show you anything? Like real proof?" Michael frowned. "What is this about?" James looked down. I don't trust her." Michael's voice changed. "James, she loves us, and she makes me happy. Please don't ruin this for me." James stood up and walked away. In that moment, he realized his dad wouldn't believe him. Not until it was too late. Ward disappears the next morning. James tried to call Mr. Ward. No answer. He texted. No reply. Checked the news. And there it was. Private investigator John Ward reported missing. Last seen leaving a diner Tuesday afternoon. James's heart dropped. He was the last one to see Ward alive. And now, he was gone. The hidden camera revealed James knew Carla might be watching. So he set up a hidden camera in her room, a tiny device hidden in a lamp. He checked the footage. The next day, Carla wasn't sleeping. She was talking to someone on a secure laptop, using a language James didn't recognize. She said things like, "The father trusts me completely. The boy is a variable. I'll handle it." Extraction. In 3 days, James couldn't believe what he was hearing. Extraction. What was she planning to take? Money, files, or something worse? The wedding is rushed that evening. Michael came home with news. "We're moving the wedding up. This weekend?" James's chest tightened. He looked at Carla. She smiled softly, but her eyes told a different story. They weren't eyes of joy. They were eyes of someone who knew she was almost done. Almost finished. Almost. Free. James makes his choice that night. James sat in the dark. He stared at the USB he had taken from Carla's black bag days ago. He hadn't opened it. He was too scared. But now, he knew he had no choice. He plugged it into an old offline laptop. Files. Open. Photos, voice recordings, bank transactions. One folder was labeled, Grayson Exit Strategy. James clicked it. There were instructions, plane tickets, new identities, even fake medical documents. And one document that broke him, Michael Grayson final profile. Insurance claim $1.5 million, natural cause plan active. She wasn't planning a wedding. She was planning a funeral. End of part 5. James sat frozen in the dark room. He finally understood everything. Carla or Elizabeth didn't just want to leave. She wanted to leave rich, and his father's life was the price. Now it was clear. The house felt different now. Every word Carla spoke, every smile she gave, it was all an act. James had seen the files. He knew what she was really planning. The wedding wasn't a celebration, it was a setup, and his father had no idea. He was walking straight into it. The wedding in Tadiza. Michael was excited. He told everyone it was going to be a small, private wedding in the backyard. He said Carla wanted something simple, something special. James forced a smile, but inside, he felt like screaming. He had read her exit strategy, a folder full of fake documents, insurance papers, and tickets out of the country. This wasn't about love. It was about money. Carla had taken out a life insurance policy in Michael's name. She planned to marry him, then bury him. James sends a message. James couldn't go to the police. He tried calling the FBI contact again, no answer. Mr. Ward was still missing, so he did the only thing he could think of. He made a copy of all Carla's files from the USB, put them in an envelope and mailed them anonymously to a trusted reporter, one his mother used to follow, named Karen Wells. He wrote just one note: "If anything happens to my father, start here." Then he dropped it in a mailbox and waited. Countdown begins the next day. Carla handed James a suit. "You'll look handsome for the wedding," she said with a soft smile. James nodded, pretending not to shake. But his mind was racing. He only had one day left to stop her. One day. Before she became his stepmother. One day. Before she made her final move. A secret meeting that night. Someone knocked on James's window. He jumped back, then saw a familiar face. It was a young man in a black hoodie. He whispered, "FBI, quiet." James opened the window. The agent climbed in and closed the curtain. "I'm Agent Mendez. Your earlier contact has gone off. We believe she was compromised." James blinked. "What do you mean?" "We think Carla has someone on the inside. We believe she may be part of something bigger, a financial ring targeting wealthy men through fake identities and staged deaths." James whispered, "Like my dad?" Mendez nodded. "If she succeeds, he'll die naturally the day after the wedding. Then she vanishes with everything." James's voice cracked. "Then stop her." "We will," Mendez said, "but we need proof. Live proof." "Can you get her to talk? To admit something?" James's hands shook. "She's smart. She won't say a word. She's human," Mendez said. "If you press the right button, she will slip." The confrontation plan. James had an idea. Wear a hidden mic and trigger her, show her what he found. Say the name Ryan, mention Ward. Bring up the USB. If she reacted, the FBI would have her voice. A confession, a threat, something they could use. Mendez handed James the wire. "We'll be parked outside. If she makes a move, we come in." James nodded. "Let's end this." The morning of the wedding, sunlight broke over the backyard. Chairs were set, flowers were placed. A small table with rings and papers stood near the garden. Michael adjusted his tie, beaming with happiness. Carla wore a light blue dress and soft makeup. Looked like a dream, but James knew better. She was a nightmare in disguise. The moment of truth before the guests arrived, James pulled Carla aside. "Can we talk? Just us." She nodded. They walked into the house, alone. James locked the door behind them. Carla raised an eyebrow. "What's going on?" James stepped closer. "Ryan Elliott sends his regards." Carla's smile faded. "Excuse me, and Mr. Ward." He said hi before he disappeared. Now her eyes changed cold, calculating. "James, where did you hear those names?" "From your USB," he said calmly. "The one with your real plan." Carla didn't move, didn't blink. "You've been spying on me," she said. "You've been lying to us," James snapped. "But it ends today." Silence. Then, Carla smiled. A slow, terrifying smile. "You're clever," she whispered. "Just like your mother. She tried to stop me, too." James's heart stopped. "What did you say?" Carla stepped closer. "Your father was always the real target, but your mother, she found out too soon, so I had to make her go away." James took a step back. She admitted it, and his mic caught every word. The arrest. Suddenly the front door burst open. FBI agents rushed in. Carla turned. Too late. They tackled her to the ground. She fought, but not for long. James backed into the corner. Shaking. He watched as they cuffed her, and for the first time, he saw fear in her eyes. End of part 6. James looked outside. His father was running toward the door. Confused. Behind him, the guests stared at the chaos. The wedding was over, and the woman his father loved was being taken away in handcuffs. But it wasn't over yet, because James still didn't know what really happened to his mother. And now, with Carla caught, the truth might finally come out. James couldn't sleep again. Even though Carla had been arrested, even though the FBI took her away in handcuffs, one sentence kept playing in his head. "Your mother, she tried to stop me too." Those words echoed like thunder in his mind. Was his mother's death really an accident? Or had Carla been behind it all along? Michael breaks down that night. James found his father sitting on the couch, staring at an old wedding photo. Michael looked lost, like a man whose world had just shattered. "She fooled me, James," he whispered. "I was going to marry her." James sat beside him. "Dad, it's not your fault. She lied to all of us." Michael looked down at his hands. "But you're—" "Mother, I always blamed myself for her death. Now, I don't know what's real anymore." There was a silence. Then Michael said something that made James freeze. "A few months before your mother died, she told me someone was watching her." The journal. James rushed to the attic. He remembered something, a box of his mom's things, that no one had touched in years. He dug through old books, photos, letters. Then he found it, her journal. He sat on the floor and opened the first page. A warning from the past. The early entries were normal. Talks about James, about dinner recipes, about holidays. But then, around 8 months before her death, the tone changed. "Someone followed me again today. Same dark car. 3rd time this week. Michael doesn't believe me, but I know what I saw. She came into the library again. The woman with the fake smile, always watching." James flipped through faster. "Her name is Carla. I saw it on her ID at the hospital. She said she's a therapist. but she's not. Something's wrong. Then, if something happens to me, tell James the truth. I was never paranoid. I was right. James's hands were shaking. His mother knew. She saw Carla before she met Michael. She knew she was dangerous, and no one listened. James confronts the FBI the next morning. James went to the FBI building with his mother's journal in hand. He met with Agent Mendez in a small room. James dropped the journal on the table. My mom warned us. Carla was following her before she died. Mendez flipped through the pages carefully. This changes everything, he said. We didn't know your mother had made contact with Carla. This may link Carla to other deaths and explain how she chooses her targets. James leaned forward. Do you think Carla killed my mother? Mendez looked at him seriously. We can't say yet, but we're opening a full investigation into your mom's death. Carla's interrogation. The FBI let James watch part of the recorded interrogation. Carla sat in a small room, handcuffed to a table. She looked calm, still playing a role, but then an agent said something that made her flinch. We know you met his mother first. Carla narrowed her eyes. She was in the way, the agent asked. What did you do to her? Carla smiled. You can't prove anything. Accidents happen all the time. But her eyes said more than her words. She knew, and now. So did James. Michael learns the truth. James showed his father the journal. At first, Michael didn't want to read it, but slowly, page by page, the truth broke him. He wept like James had never seen before. She tried to protect us, he whispered. She knew. James hugged him, for the first time in a long time. They cried together, not just for the lies, but for the woman they lost. The reporter's article goes viral a few days later. James got a message from Karen Wells, the reporter he had mailed the files to. She had published a huge story, Wedding Trap, how a trained con artist targeted a father and son, and almost got away. The article exposed everything. Carla's real identity, the insurance scam, her secret past, and the new investigation into the mother's death. It spread fast. People around the country started sharing similar stories. Suddenly, James's family wasn't the only one. There were others, and justice had just begun. A strange letter 1 week after Carla's arrest. A letter arrived in the mail. No return address. Inside was a single piece of paper, typed cold, no name signed. It said, "This is bigger than you think. Carla was just one part. Stop digging, or you'll be next." James stared at the words, his fingers curled around the paper. He didn't feel fear, he felt determined. The letter changed everything. James held it in his hand again, reading the same sentence over and over. Carla was just one part. Stop digging, or you'll be next. It wasn't a threat from a stranger, that it was a warning from someone who knew exactly what Carla had been. Part of this wasn't just one woman lying to a family. This was a whole network of criminals hiding in plain sight. And now, James had a choice to make. The hidden contacts FBI agents dug deeper into Carla's laptop and burner phones. What they found shocked even the experienced investigators. There were lists of names, photos of rich men, personal data, dates, locations. A system, a plan, an organized ring. Carla wasn't working alone. She was part of a team. Each person in the ring had a role. Some were romantic bait, others were for cleanup, and some were trained to make deaths look natural. James joins the case. Agent Mendez met with James privately. We've taken your mother's journal and the files you gave us, and created a map of possible targets. It's bigger than we thought. James asked quietly, do you think my mom was their first victim? Mendez shook his head. She was one of many, but she may be the first who tried to fight back. That hurt James deeply, but it also gave him strength. I want to help. Are you sure? Mendez asked. Once you step in, there's no turning back. These people don't forgive, and they don't forget. James nodded. I'm not afraid anymore. The FBI made a bold plan. They used one of the names on Carla's contact list, a woman named Diana, known for targeting older widowers. They told James they needed someone to pretend to be a rich heir, someone she would chase. James volunteered out. He knew the risk, but he also knew that the truth needed to come out. He created a fake social media account. They used photos of him driving expensive cars, living in a big house, even inheriting money from a grandparent. Within days, Diana reached out. The meeting, James met Diana at a cafe. She smiled like Carla used to fake. Warm, too perfect. She asked small questions, tried to act interested, but James had studied her file. Everything she said was a lie, and when she pulled out her phone to take a selfie, he saw the same pattern Carla used. Same angles, same poses, same system. He smiled through it, played along, but in his earpiece he heard Agent Mendez. We've got her voice. Keep her talking. Then Diana leaned in and said something that chilled him. I knew Carla. She said you were clever. James didn't move. She told us you'd cause problems if we weren't careful. James looked into her eyes. You people hurt my family. She smiled again. And we're not done yet. That was enough. The raid FBI vans rolled in. Officers poured into the cafe. Customers screamed and ducked. Diana tried to run, but she was tackled to the ground. James stood frozen as they cuffed her. It was over. Another link in the chain was broken, the real choice back at headquarters. Agent Mendez gave James a private moment. He handed James a file. Inside are 5 more names. The highest level players in the group, all still free, all very dangerous. James opened the folder slowly. He saw faces, locations, bank records, travel patterns. If you want, we'll take over from here, Mendez said. You've done more than enough. James looked at the file, then out the window. The sun was rising, a new day, but he knew darkness still existed in the world, and his mother had once tried to fight it. Alone. Now he wasn't alone, and he had the truth on his side. I'm staying on the case, James said softly. I'm not just doing this for me. I'm doing it for her. A new beginning. Michael watched his son from across the yard. James was stronger now, older, wiser, not just because of what he'd survived, but because of what he chose to do with the pain. He turned it into purpose. Michael walked over and handed James a framed picture. It was his mother, smiling, standing by a lake. She'd be proud of you, he said. James smiled back. We'll make sure no one else goes through what she did. And together, father and son stood in the sunlight. Healing, fighting back, together.